Hello, colleagues, fellow Toastmasters. I'm here for one reason tonight. It's to make a public confession. I only joined Toastmasters to meet women, and I don't think I'm the only man in this audience who can actually admit that. I'll tell you the quick story. After I got out of college, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia is the capital of the South because it's where people who are single go to meet other people who are single. And I had a great advantage in Atlanta, Georgia. I had a lot of married friends who were very interested in setting me up with their female friends. And so I went on a lot of blind dates. Here was the problem. I was really good at getting first dates. I just could not get a second. It just was not working out for me. And my sisters were very, very concerned about this and urged me to figure out what the problem was. So I went back to my married friends and I said, hey, why did the girl not want to go out on a second date with me? And I kept hearing this answer over and over. They said, Mick, apparently on your date, you did 90% of the talking, and 99% of what you talked about was yourself. After the third time I heard that exact same response, I started to suspect the problem was me. Around that time, I came across an Esquire magazine. There was this essay written in the magazine by a woman who said that all women want is 3 stories. It takes 3 stories from a man for a woman to be able to determine if that man is nice, endearing, or crazy. So I worked on my 3 stories. 3 stories I came up with were all true stories from my history. The first was the time I ran a marathon. That was about 60 pounds ago. The second time was the time I was accidentally hugged by Bill Clinton. I was at this event and he showed up, and I asked him an innocuous question about water rights. He immediately hugged me in front of all these other people, then put his arm around me and discussed for the next 15 minutes how water rights are fundamental in America and an issue for every single American. Now keep in mind, Bill Clinton is 6'5". I'm 5'8", and this was early President Clinton. He was about 350 pounds. At the time, I was about 140 pounds. So it was like I was being hugged by a bear who was really good at civics. He kept squeezing me. It was an interesting experience. My third story was about how I was the first person to sell taxidermied stuffed chickens on the internet. True story. It happened when I was in college. I was taking an e-commerce class, and I was getting an F until the last 3 weeks of class. Now, in this class, 80% of your grade was based on the final project. I was at a loss as to what I was going to do for my final project. I got into a conversation with a buddy of mine's mother. She had a gift shop, and she mentioned innocuously how women kept coming into her gift shop to buy taxidermied stuffed chickens. And she thought it was very interesting. No man ever buys a taxidermied stuffed chicken. All women are very interested in looking at these items. I asked her more about this. She gave me the name of her supplier, who she called her chicken dealer. And I called him up, and we started talking, and I did a little bit more research. It turns out that in America, this is true, 1 out of every 10 American women are fascinated by taxidermied stuffed chickens. They want to buy them and put them up in their kitchen or their dining rooms to make their other female friends very jealous. That was my third story. Oh, by the way, I got an A in the class because I was the only one in class who actually sold something over the internet. In my first week, I sold 3 taxidermied stuffed chickens. All to women. All to women. Once I had my 3 stories, I then saw a flyer for a Toastmasters club that was meeting every Wednesday afternoon at a building across the street from the building I worked in Atlanta. And I went to a meeting and I joined. In this club, there were 9 women between the ages of 30 and 60 and 1 75-year-old man. I joined the club, and for my first 10 speeches, get my first competent Toastmaster award, I repeated my 3 stories over and over and over again. After my 10th speech, when I got my award, the 75-year-old man pulled me aside and he said, Mick, I'm going to give you some advice. Women like to be heard. Who knew? Who knew this? This guy had cracked the code, and it turns out it only took him 3 divorces to figure that out. I lucked into this. So I went back to my friends and I said, let's get back into the dating pool. More blind dates, please. And a funny thing happened. I started getting second dates. I started getting third dates. And my sisters were shocked. They said, did Toastmasters teach you how to make the perfect speech for a woman? And I said, no, actually, Toastmasters actually taught me how to listen. You see, in Toastmasters, we learn a few things, but I gradually learned that the key skill that we actually develop is listening. I listen to the Toastmaster give instructions, I listen to the speaker giving their comments, I give some feedback. You see, in our world, the average American adult goes to about 47 billion meetings in their life, and they have to give feedback to their coworkers and their lovers and their bosses. And if you screw up that feedback, you can screw up your career or your love life. And so what I was doing was I was talking 20% of the time on these dates. It was a wonderful lesson. I know a lot of you will claim that you joined Toastmasters to become better public speakers. I am one of those few who will admit I simply joined Toastmasters to become a better functioning human being. And it helped me tremendously. That's how I got this. It didn't happen overnight. It took 9 more years. But I do want to point out I will forever be indebted to those 9 women and that thrice divorced 75-year-old man for helping me become a better Toastmaster and a better functioning adult. Thank you very much.